In this lecture, we would like to discuss the role and the initiative taken by Government of India regarding the very development of Indian cinema, in particularly by establishing the Film and Television Institute of India in the 1960s and 1971, National Film Archive of India in the year 1964, then National Film Development Corporation in the year 1960 and 1975, the Film Division in 1948, then Children's Film Society in the year 1955. So the Film Institute of India was established in 1960 at Pune by the Government of India with the object of imparting technical training in a systematic manner in the art and craft of filmmaking. And in the year 1971, it was renamed as the Film and Television Institute of India, with extension of its sphere of activities to provide training in television. And in the year October 1, 1974, the institute became a society registered under the Registration of Societies Act 1860. The film wing offers courses leading to diploma in cinema with specialization in areas like direction, cinematography, editing, sound recording, and sound engineering. Noted Malayalam filmmaker Adur Gopal Krishnan is the then president and chairman of the Film Television Institute of India Society Governing Council, the National Films Archive of India, with headquarters at Pune, is a pioneer institution set up in the year 1964 with the objectives of acquisition and preservation of national cinema, film classification, documentation and research, encouraging film technology and spread of film culture in the country. The archive has a collection of more than 6,000 above films from all over the world, and it is constantly growing. The archive also maintains a library consisting of film books, periodicals, and other materials related to films. The National Film Archives of India has started regional offices at Calcutta, Bangalore, and Trivandrum, which provide useful service to film societies and film study groups in the respective region. So, also, the National Film Archive of India and the Film and Television Institute of India jointly conduct film appreciation courses for teachers, journalists, media officials, and film society workers since 1975. And now we would like to discuss about the National Film Development Corporation. So the Government of India set up the Film Finance Corporation in 1960 to promote the production of good cinema. In the year 1975, the Film Finance Corporation was merged with the Indian Motion Picture Export Corporation and was now known as National Film Development Corporation. The Film Finance Corporation and the National Development of Film Corporation financed nearly 500 feature films so far. The National Film Development Corporation also plays an important role in import of foreign films and in the export of Indian films. It had also started its own distribution network of imported commercial films. There was again a scheme for financing the construction of theatres by private entrepreneurs. Noted film director Sri Rishikesh Mukherjee was once the chairman of the National Film Development Corporation. Another support made by the Government of India regarding Directorate of Film Festivals. The Government of India provided sufficient funds to the Directorate of Film Festivals to organize international film festivals in India every year in the month of January. It also arranges for the selection and entry of Indian films to film festivals held in other countries. The Directorate organizes the National Film Awards annually, and another major development that was made in the year 1955, that was Children's Film Society. The society was formed in the year 1955. It produces feature films and short films for children. It organizes subsidized shows and distributes film prints. The society also organizes an international children's film festival held every other year in India. So also, the Indian Films Division is perhaps the world's largest single producer and distributor of newsreels and documentaries. It is functioning under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. The film division was first set up in the year 1948. And now we would like to discuss a revolutionary change made in Indian cinema, and that was the new cinema and those regional cinema. The emergence of the new Indian cinema in the late 60s as a recognizable movement was partly a reaction to popular cinemas and otherworldliness. It is a cinema of social significance and artistic sincerity, presenting a modern, humanist perspective more durable than the fantasy world of the popular commercial cinema of India. The new cinema is regional in the sense that it speaks in terms of recognizable situation, gives its characters a social identity, and deals with situations close to life. In production too, it follows a pattern different from the popular cinema, and it was all started by the godfather of the new cinema, and it was Satyajit Ray, and followed by Mrinal and Rwitik, Ghatak, the founding fathers of new cinema in India. Satyajit Ray had a special vision of the Indian reality, art, implacable, piercing to the heart of the matter, in an unbearably truthful yet moving fashion. He had hitherto made 25 full-length feature films and a few documentaries. The awards won by Satyajit Ray's film are too numerous, such as Pathar Panchali, Aparajito, Abur Sansar, Charulata, Devi, Gopi, Gyan Bhaglabban, Simavant, Asni Sanket, Jan Aranya, etc. are some of his outstanding films contributed to the Indian cinema in the new cinema or the art films. Mrinal Sen was the effluent one, experimenting with new realism as well as new wave and fantasy. His notable films are Bhuvan Som, Krosh, Mrigaya, Ek Din Prati Din, Akal Sandhan, Genesis. Like Satyajit Ray, Mrinal Sen also had won several awards, both national and international. Rwitik, Ghatak, in a sense, is the most disturbing figure. His films constitute a record of the traumas of change, from the depreciation of rootless and deprived refugees from East Bengal, and as such he made such new regime films or art films like Meghe Dhaka Tara, Kumal Gandhar, Savarna Rekha. A whole new group of filmmakers emerged on the Bengal scene. Notable among them were Tapan Sinha, Tarun Majumdar, Purnendu Patria, and Buddhadev Dasgupta. They continued the breakaway tradition of Satyajit Ray and made some significant contribution in their own individual styles. In Bombay, from the new cinema group, there came Basu Chatterjee's Sarakas, Rajinder Singh Bedi's Dastak, Mani Kaul's Uski Roti, Asad Ek Ke Din, and Duvida Kumar Sani's Maya Darpan, Avatar Kal's 27 Down, Basu Bhattacharya's Anubhav, and Aviska, MS Satyus, Karam Hawa, etc. Sham Bengal's advent with Ankur has been a significant event of 70s. He has made notable films like Manthan, Nishan, Bhumika, Junoon, Kaliju, Trigal, etc. The South gained its fast recognition as a center for serious cinema or new cinema with the Malayalam Gemini, which was made in the year 1965 by the late Ramu Kariyat. In the 70s, the filmmakers of Karnataka and Kerala raised the banner of the new cinema in the south so distinctively that the new cinema became identified with regional cinema, such as Pathavi Rama Reddy's Sanskar in 1970 and Adur Gopal Krishna's Swambaram in 1972, where the trend setters in Kannada and Malayalam respectively. This trend continued with a series of socially conscious and relevant films, outstanding among them being M.T. Vasudevan Nayar's Nirmalayam in the year 1973, B.B. Karnath's Chumman Duddi, and G. Aravindan's Uttaranayam and Thampa, Grace Kannad's Kaddu, Grace Krasvali's and Adur Gopal Krishna's movies. The artistic supremacy of the regional cinema raised its peak in the 70s with the arrival of bright young talents from the film schools at Pune and Madras who took up cinema as a challenging medium and made a positive contribution along with the support of an intelligent minority audience thrown off by the active film society movement in the South. The active good cinema movement in Karnataka had suffered a severe setback of late with a number of completed upbeat films remaining in the cans and awaiting distributors and exhibitors. The Hindi Rantigrade or new wave seems to have reached its bloom period towards the end of the 70s with the coming of filmmakers like Govind Nihalini's Akrosh, Said Mirza's Albert Pinto को गुस्सा क्यों आता है, Sai Paranjiv's Sparse, Ravindra Dharmaraj's Chakra, Muzaffar Ali's Gaman, and Biplab Roy Chowdhury's Sooth. The movement spread to the other regional cinema such as Marathi, Gujarati, and Telugu also. Directors like Jabbar Patel, Ram Das Pustani, Ketan Mehta, and Gautam Ghosh came to the scene with their films. Here in the South also filmmakers such as K. Balchandar, John Abraham, Bharati Raja, Bardhan, K.R. Mohanan, and few others presented some significant films. So the new wave matters or masters such as Adur and Aravindan remained in the field with films like Elipathaniam, Mugaddam Udam. So also Chidambaram and Uridat. Others latest films were made at and were significant films of the Malayalam cinema in the year 1987. Aparna Sen, Nirod Mahapatra of Odisha and Prakash Jha of Bihar were among the few new filmmakers who became popular with their films like 36 Jauring Lane, Paruma, My America, and Damul, the main bulk of Indian cinema. In reality, is still in a situation with a confrontation with commercial film and the new regime or the ad films. So in that connection, we would like to analyze certain ad or new regime films made by the Indian film community. So in that connection, we would like to discuss the very developments and the matters that relating to Indian cinema that at present as it almost at the point of completing 115 years old. Chronologically, as the first Indian feature film was Pundalik, produced and directed by Nanabhai Govind Chitre, Ramchandra Gopal Tani, and P.R. Tipnis. All lovers of Marathi theatre, it was based on a well-known play by Tipnis on a holy man of Maharashtra. Pundalik was made with the help of English technicians and was released on May 18, 1912 at Coronation Cinema, Bombay. But the real pioneer of Indian cinema in all its various facets was the extraordinary Dundiraj Govind Phalke, affectionately called Dada Saheb Phalke. He made India's first indigenous feature film and which was silent film named as Raja Harishchandra, which was released on May 3, 1913 at the Coronation Cinema, Autograph, Bombay. So, hereby we would like to discuss Raja Harishchandra, which was made in 1913 by Dundiraj Govind Phalke. India's first indigenous silent feature film, which was released on May 3 at the Coronation Cinema, Autograph, Bombay. The film had titles in Hindi and English and ran initially for an unprecedented 23 days. The film narrates the story of King Harishchandra, who never told a single lie. The cast was drawn from none for professional. Although Dada Saheb Phalke wanted to cast women in female role, so women agreed to perform Dada Phalke made a remake of this film in the year 1917. And another great movie, and that was in the year 1931, made by Adresi Irani, and that was Alamara, India's first sound film, produced by Imperial Film Company, was released on March 14 at the Majestic Cinema in Bombay. The film was made at a cost of Rs 40,000 and starred artists like Master Beetal, Jubida, V.M. Khan, Prithviraj Kapoor, L.B. Prasad, and Yakub. The film was a period fantasy and established the use of music, song, and dance as the mainstay of Indian cinema. And another great movie that was made in the year 1946 by K. Abbas in the Hindi language, and that was Dharti Ki Lal. Abbas' directorial debut launched a major trend of realism in Indian cinema. The film was set during World War II and the 1943 Bengal famine and a growing nation-building ideology. The film was based partly on Shambhu Mitra's landmark production of Bijan Bhattacharya's play Nabana Har. So, another great film that was made in the year 1948, and that was Chandralekha in Hindi, one of the earliest and most expensive cinema spectacles produced in India. The epic blockbuster was the real beginning of the Madras brands of entertainers with emotions, dances, spectacle, romance, and music. And in 1951, a great movie was made by Raj Kapoor in Hindi language, and that was Avara. With this film, Raj Kapoor, the actor, established his image as the eternal tramp. This was the first film to become a race outside India, especially in the then Union Soviet Socialist Republics. Raj Kapoor, Nargis, Leela Chitnis, Prithviraj Kapoor, and Leela Mishra, Ken Singh, Sasi Kapoor, Baby Juveda were the attestates. And another great film that was made in the year 1953 by Bimal Roy was Do Viga Jamin. So, the upbeat, realistic saga inspired by European cinema told the magic tale of a poor farmer exploited by a landowner. The movie had average success but ranked in awards and accolades and is considered a classic. The film's new realistic reputation is almost solely based on Balraj Sahni's extraordinary performance in his best known film role Other artists of the film include Nirupa Roy, Murad, Nana, Paliskar, etc. And another great movie that was made in 1954 and that was relating to Mirza Ghalib and which was made by Sarab Modi. Costume period movie about the life of the best known poet in Urdu language, Mirza Asaduddin Khan Ghalib, who belonged to the period 1797 to 1869. Also, for a while, the court poet appointed by the last Mughal king Bahadur Shah Jafar. The film reconciling Ghalib's rejection and final acceptance by the royal court is mainly a love story between the poet and the courtesans he calls Chudamani. Bharat Bhushan, Surya, Ullas, Durga Kote, Mukri, Murad and Nigar Sultan were the main artists. The film won the President's Gold Medal for Best Film in the year 1954. And another great movie that was made in the new film or the art film that was in the year 1955 in the language Bengali by Satyajit Ray, and it was Pather Panchal. And this was the first of a trilogy based on two classics by Vibhuti Bhushan Bandhavadaya, Pathar Panchali with music by Pandit Ravi Shankar, documents a family struggle for existence in the Bengali village of Nischandpur in the early 20th century and the growth of the boy Apu, Aparajito and Apur Sansar completed Apu's journey. Kanu Banerjee, Karuna Banerjee, Shuniwala Devi, Sumit Banerjee and Uma Das Gupta starred in this film. International recognition came to this film with the Cannes Award from France in 1956 for the best human document, followed by an unprecedented crop of foreign and national awards including gold medals for best film. And another great movie made in the year 1957 was Do Aankhe Bara Haath in the Hindi language by B. Shantaram. Styled parable about human virtue, the unforgettable story of a jail warden who experiments with an open prison and reforms its hardcore criminals was not only a box office hit but won national and international recognition for its premise as well as presentation, and it was winner of the President's Gold Medal. And another great film made in the year 1957 by Mehboob Khan, and it was Mother India, which has come to be regarded as the quintessential Indian film, a new national epic, in particular in its treatment of the essence of the Indian women. It remains hugely popular and was the first Indian film to receive an Oscar nomination for Best Foreign Film. It has a powerful storyline with top stars Nargis Sunil Dutt, Rajendra Kumar, Raj Kumar, and especially Mother India was the remake of an earlier film Aurat, which was made in the 1940s by the same director Mehboob Khan. And another great movie that was made also in the same year in 1957 by Guru Dutt was Pyasa, the first of Guru Dutt's personalized cinema. Thus, unique film had a hard-hitting message and was an exquisite blend of cinematic art and popular appeal. It was inspired by Sharat Chandra's novel Srikant. The cast included Guru Dutt, Waida Rahman, Malasina, Rahman, Kumkum, and Johnny Walker. The outstanding features of this film are the songs by Shahid Ludhianji, S.D. Burman, and cinematographed by V.K. Murthy. And another great movie that was made in the year 1959 by Guru Dutt was Kagaz Ke Phool, and it was made in Hindi. The story of Kagaz Ke Phool was told in flashback, and the film begins with a deceived old man walking into a deserted film studio and reminiscing about the past. Kagaz Ke Phool had been compared to Citizens Kane because it is shot like version Wallace film in expressionist style with shadows predominating and is about the decline of a great man. The main artists included Guru Dutt, Waida Rahman, Minu Mumtaz, Sluchana, Johnny Walker, Mahesh Bhatt, Baby Naz, and another great revolution in the Indian cinema was contributed in the year 1960 by K. Asif by making the film Mughal Jam, which tells the story of Prince Salim, which was casted by Dilip Kumar, son and heir apparent to the Mughal Emperor Akbar, which was casted by Prithviraj Kapoor, who develops a fascination for a slave girl named Nadira, acted by Madhubala, and christened by Salim as Anarkali by the emperor. Technically, cool, and to back the content, it still ranks among our biggest and eternal hits. This spectacular mega budget film had romance, emotions, family values, drama, action, music, and grandeur. So, here why we would like to conclude on this part the developments made regarding Indian films up to the year 1960s and some of the important developments and movies made since from 1960s that we would like to discuss in our subsequent upcoming lecture.